This enables us to solve global problems in a very fast and efficient manner. Our goal is one, how fast can we breed seeds that can solve real world problems for farmers? Second is how fast can we deploy infrastructure that is enabling people to grow produce more efficiently. I could lease a Tesla for $299 today. That's how barriers to new technology is reduced. We're starting a leasing model for $1,000 a month. It's as simple as you buying an iPhone.
That is the voice of Vihari Kanukollu. He's the co-founder and CEO of UrbanKisaan. UrbanKisaan is a breakthrough agtech pioneer based in India with clients across the globe, from the Bahamas to Oman to Australia. I am Pierre, CEO of Project Management Institute, PMI. Welcome to The Shift Code, a podcast dedicated to the intersection of leadership, change management, and real-world impact. In this episode, I talk with Vihari about transforming one of the oldest human activities, the farming of food. As Vihari explains, UrbanKisaan deploys technology that dramatically increases farming efficiency, improves food quality, and also lowers costs. It's a magical combination with the potential for significant impact. So let's get to it. This is The Shift Code. Welcome to The Shift Code. I am Pierre, the CEO of PMI. And today I'm speaking with Vihari Kanukollu. He's the co-founder and CEO of UrbanKisaan, which is a leader in hydroponic farming. So Vihari, thank you so much for joining us.
It's a pleasure to be here.
So I'd like to start with trying to understand a little bit what is hydroponic farming. Could you explain what it is and why it is so transformative?
Hydroponics means soilless farming. The ability to control the nutrients the plant gets, the ability to mimic the environmental conditions for the plant. Data represents that it uses anywhere between 95 to 99% lesser water than traditional farming. This is because of the self-circulating water system and irrigation system that hydroponics uses.
That's awesome. And I'm sure that many of us would have some questions about food safety.
Produce that is grown in hydroponics is mostly grown in a controlled environment. That means that it is by far the safest way to grow produce. If somebody is eating a hydroponic produce, they could be rest assured that it is free from any heavy metals, it is free from pesticides, and it is far more nutritious than the traditional farming.
Talk a little bit about your company itself, UrbanKisaan. So I think you began with home kits, so people could do this at home, and then you expanded into infrastructure, monitoring systems, seed innovation. How would you define your company today? Is it an infrastructure company, a technology company, a bioengineering company?
We're a full stack agtech company that works from seed to harvest. But that's not how we started. We started as a company that was trying to promote home gardening. It came out of the concern that the produce that we eat is not clean, and it comes from a long supply chain, and it's not fresh enough. We thought, how could we solve this problem and enable people to grow it in their own house? And that's how we started the company in 2018. Fast forward 2020, with all the piece of profits that we've generated from selling these home kits, we've built a fairly mid-sized farm in the city that we live in called Hyderabad in India that enabled people to come to our farm and then buy the produce that we were growing. So we instantly knew that people were craving for fresh, high-quality produce grown locally. And today, we are enabling farmers, governments, and large-scale entrepreneurs to build farms like how we've built in India across the world.
And how large is your farm?
In India, about 30 acres of farms, 12 to 13 hectares.
But it's vertical?
Some of them are vertically stacked, some of them are not. We're not specific saying, hey, we need to grow vertically or we need to do greenhouse. The methodology depends on what crop we're growing. The idea is, how do we grow the most sustainable way in such an efficient manner that we don't have to charge a premium to the end consumers who are buying the produce?
So let's talk a little bit about sustainability. How much of your work is driven by solving the global food and water scarcity issues?
Yeah, we have a farm that's being built in the Bahamas. Today, Bahamas imports more than 90% of the produce from United States. If the local Bahamians are enabled to grow produce locally, that reduces significant carbon footprint on the produce that they've been consuming. And also, they get the produce at a tenth of a cost versus what they're currently paying. We're looking at sustainability in different angles, not just water that we save, but also how much carbon footprint are we reducing by localizing farms? And how can we use materials that go into farm construction that is recycled? Every single aspect in our company is looking towards growing and building farms sustainably.
And you think it is scalable enough?
Well, absolutely. We've been scaling and fortunate enough that we have partners in close to about 15 countries today. Our systems are built to scale.
Your website highlights something called speed breeding.
Yeah, a seed company, if it has to come up with a new variety of seeds, let's say, for example, a seed that is drought resistant or resistant to a virus or something that is higher yielding, the research generally takes about 8 to 10 years. And it's a very long and capital intensive process. With multiple combinations of technology that we've developed in-house, we've been able to speeden this to between 2 to 3 years.
Oh, wow.
And for us to release new seed varieties in a much faster pace than anybody else. So this enables us to solve global problems in a very fast and efficient manner. Part of it is powered by AI, and part of it is powered by a lot of data models that we built in-house. Seeds that have higher resilience to climate change, higher resilience to pest, solves long-term problems.
Are they genetically modified?
No, it's a traditional breeding process that has been speeded up. We do a bit of gene editing at some points, but we don't do gene modifications.
Is it a regulated area?
In some countries, gene editing is permitted. We only use that as a last resort. Our goal is to increase traditional breeding.
As someone who has, as far as I know, no bioengineering background, how did you end up venturing into seed development?
I keep asking that question myself sometimes. I've spent close to 5 years of my career before this in fintech. My co-founder, Dr. Sairam Reddy, he is a PhD in Indian Institute of Sciences, postdoc from US, spent close to 2 decades working with farmers in releasing new seed varieties. He was growing plants without soil, so that was magic to me.
You mentioned you're working in the Bahamas. I'm assuming you have private sector clients, governments. Can you explain a little bit whom you sell to?
We primarily categorize our customers into 3. One is government, who are trying to solve for food security. Second is large retail and restaurants or / hotels who want to backward integrate their existing supply chain so that they can drive up profits. And third is existing farmers who are doing large-scale agriculture. They experience the impact of climate change on a day in, day out basis. So we don't know any government or sorts of private players outside of India. So we sign up distributors who share our passion and vision. They have the local connections. That allows us to scale very rapidly in the countries that we are in.
And do you feel you give up too much in terms of control of your own channels?
No, that's absolutely fine. The fastest way to work is to work with partners and investors who believe in the vision that we share. Our goal is to achieve food security for every country as fast as possible.
That's awesome. And so as you are still a startup, I would assume, are you still considering yourself as a startup?
Yes, the definition of startup is, for us at least, the ability to move fast to what market wants. Right? I've been to Australia and farmers have been struggling to combat with a virus for tomatoes. Last year, they've lost millions of dollars because the crop has been affected from virus. With our speed breeding approach, we'll be able to come to a solution for it at a much faster pace. So our goal is 2 things. One, how fast can we breed seeds that can solve real world problems for farmers? Second is how fast can we deploy infrastructure that is enabling people to grow produce more efficiently.
Vihari looks at farming from a whole new perspective, which is an essential starting point for any transformation. So, how is he expanding the scope of that transformation? We'll talk about that after the break. Stay with us. I am Pierre, and this is The Shift Code. Before the break, we heard UrbanKisaan CEO Vihari Kanukollu talk about the efficiency and sustainability of hydroponic farming. Now, we dig into how the company is working to expand impact, including by borrowing a strategy from Tesla. Plus, why succeeding with change is both a marathon and a sprint. Let's get back to it. Transformation is a theme of this podcast, and your business is definitely very transformative. What kind of resistances are you facing?
Honestly, the industry that we're in, people want this change. If for a farmer, I'm saying, hey, you are going to get 3 times higher yield, you'll make more money, there won't be resistance. Next year is going to be big for us. We're going to commercialize some of the seed varieties that we developed in-house and also incrementally grow our infrastructure deployment.
Another transformation that I'm really interested in understanding that you've shifted to leasing systems. That sounds like a bold move. So what drove this change and how does it work for you?
I honestly was very inspired from Tesla. I could lease a Tesla for $299 today, right? That's how barriers to new technology is reduced. It used to take millions of dollars to build hydroponic vertical farms globally. We're starting a leasing model for $1,000 a month. So that just drops the risk barrier for end consumers. Imagine you're a retailer or a restaurant owner. You don't have to spend millions of dollars. It's as simple as you buying an iPhone and you've solved a lot.
That makes your business very capital intensive, right?
Our own capital deployment is so low because of the technology that we build. Our money gets paid back in less than 12 months.
That's unbelievable. When is the next time you're raising money?
We're fortunate that we've been profitable for the last 2 years. I'm hoping not to fundraise sometime soon.
What are the markets that are the most important for you going forward?
We primarily focused on India,
Mm-hmm.
but however, we have allied markets like the Caribbean and the Middle East and Australia. These essentially are the markets. Some of them over the next 1 year would just be in pilot phase, and some of them would be in large-scale deployments.
You mentioned in the case of the Bahamas that they're importing a lot of their produce from the US, so that's very expensive for them. But are there any criteria or parameters that make a market particularly attractive for you?
The way we look at a market is not whether the market needs hydroponics or vertical farms, because the end consumer in that market who buys produce from a retail shelf really doesn't care how you've grown the produce. But he would care if the produce is 50% discounted, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the markets that we look at is where is the price delta that we can create between what is prevailing in the market, and if we bring in our technology into that country, how much can we drop this price of the produce? Is 10%, 20%, 30%? So higher the delta, the higher the probability of success for us.
Can we talk a little bit about the lessons and changes you have drawn from your experience so far?
I myself have been on quite a learning journey in the last 5 years, because we don't come from a business background. So we learn every day. One thing that I believe every leader should be open to is change from their own existing plans, because you start your business with a vision, and then suddenly market hits you with reality. We don't need your problem statement. We don't need your solution. So if you're a leader, if you're very stuck to your own idea, it creates a problem. You'll never move forward. If we were stuck with home kits, we would have not invented speed breeding.
And that happened because you started to try and step back and look at the problem you're actually trying to address, as opposed to the solution that you had come up with.
Exactly. You shouldn't push the solution you have. if the user doesn't want it. It's the reverse. You have to spend at least 6 months talking to consumers rather than, oh, I believe this is a brilliant idea. How many people will buy this? So it should be the reverse. 1 million people are facing this problem, and we should solve for this. It's a completely different approach.
So your system, if I hear you, I feel like the results must be incredible, but still adoption has been probably not as fast as you wanted. So how do you maintain optimism? What is the level of resilience that is needed when progress feels delayed?
Yeah, it's a very good question. The journey is a mix of a marathon and a sprint. While we have the best of the best technology today, we still need a couple of more years to actually show impact. The pivots in our journey from, let's say, selling home kits to building our own farms to selling produce, and then realizing, oh, we've have this technology. I think now we should start deploying this technology. It's just so time-consuming process. If you don't have 10 years of your life dedicated to building the vision, do not start a startup because it's pointless. Unless you're very passionate, don't do it.
How do you convey the same passion and patience and long-term focus to your teams?
We try to show the impact that we want to create. It's so fortunate that the company that we are trying to build impacts millions of people. So people stay along for the joy of it, and people stay along to see that impact when they joined 3 years ago.
Do you sometimes lose faith yourself? Have moments where you feel it's not going to work? Or I am not the right person to lead this organization? Does it happen to you?
Absolutely. It's part of the whole journey. 90% you always lose faith. It's not even 50-50. 90% you always lose faith, and 10% glimmers of hope. And that's what, drives you to wake up next day and then go back to work again. If you're truly not passionate, then you would lose midway. Most of the startups fail because they don't expect it to move as fast as what they're picturing in their brain.
Thank you, Vihari, for sharing your incredible journey, your insights, your wisdom, your long-term thinking, your passion. It's been a fascinating conversation about innovation, leadership, and the future of sustainable agriculture. I really believe your work is an inspiration to anyone striving for meaningful change. Thank you, Vihari.
Thank you so much.
Listening to Vihari, it is hard to understand why hydroponic farming isn't everywhere. But as he acknowledges, change can be hard for us to accept. There's cultural resistance and economic resistance. That's why he calls his journey both a marathon and a sprint. We need to sprint to break through entrenched attitudes. But we also need patience. Transformation is a bit like trying a new food. At first, it may taste unusual, but the more we try it, the more we grow to enjoy it. And before we know it, it's a steady part of our diet. I am Pierre. Thanks for listening.